Hey everybody, I'm Chris Lyon here with the Film Prize, and I have as two special guests with me today, Matthew Garvin and Rachel Whittle with the film Day of the Deb. Of course, we're coming up to Film Prize here just in a few short weeks, so it's going to be an amazing time for you guys to get to know the filmmakers before the festival. So welcome to the show, Rachel and Matthew.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So your film, Day of the Deb, I want to talk about what it is and where you guys got the idea. But first, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your journey as filmmakers?
Oh, well, Rachel, why don't you go first?
Okay. Hey, I'm Rachel Whittle. I've been working in film for about 10 years now. Started as an actor and then quickly jumped in behind the scenes, just trying to get my hand on any aspect of filmmaking that I could, just because I loved the process. And so trained as, sort of an AD, I AD smaller projects, but I'll work in any department. My husband works in art, and so I've done art department a couple times. And my perspective was, the more I know about every part of it, the better I would be at whatever I decided to do. So as an actor, I think that it all helped. And then as I'm trying to get into directing, I just think that knowing every aspect only makes me better at whatever it is I'm doing. So
yeah, I agree with that. How about you, Matthew?
So I've been, for like a good chunk of my life, I was just doing film work on and off. I was pretty fast at fetching coffee for directors and producers. And from there, I just started kind of venturing out and doing my own work. I spent a lot of time behind the camera. I'm really not really an actor. I enjoy acting, but it's not something that I originally gravitated toward. So I started off editing. And then from there, I found myself spending a lot of time writing with friends, and I'd be writing for projects for them. And I got to a point where I started writing more for myself. And so for the past few years, I've just been writing and directing like short films and things of that nature, and just kind of exploring my quirkiness, if you will, and yeah, so that's kind of where I am.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that journey leading to this moment where you guys have made Day of the Deb. What was the impetus for this story, and what is it about?
All right. Well, so Rachel and we were working on another short film, and she just said, you know what, we need to go make our own. And I'm like, all right. And she asked, like, what do you got? And I'm like, I got a couple of things. She goes, okay, well, let's try to keep it simple, even though it clearly doesn't look simple when you watch it. And it really, because Rachel and we met a few years ago, and I was shooting a proof of concept for a film. And after we shot that, I just called her up one day and like, hey, I have some of this stuff, these skits, would you like to come film them with me? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So Day of the Deb originally started out more as a skit. And then after some rewriting, we fleshed it out, and we kind of built out it more to be more of a full like story, with it. So Rachel and I were just, from the beginning, we were shooting some small skits together, and those skits actually turned into short films, and that's how Day of the Deb actually kind of just evolved from that. So,
Absolutely, Rachel. Do you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to say that I loved. It feels like when Matt and I met each other, like our creative journey just kind of got more focused, which was so great, because he was a director that I just had contact with, and it was funny because he was like, well, why are you calling me and asking me questions? And I'm like, because I have your phone number. Like, I've done a whole lot of things, and I don't have like direct access to any other directors. I mean, I have a few, like I have some friends, and we talk and I ask them questions, but I was just like, hey, what about this, and what about that, and how do you feel about this? And so when especially after the lockdown happened, we were kind of all just sitting around, and I was like, Garvin, we have actors here in Lafayette, and we have people who want to make films, and you've got tons of content and you've got great ideas.
Yeah.
You have your own equipment. And so it was just like, let's just one weekend do something. And that's kind of where it all started. And then we just kept doing things and doing things. And literally from the time that we decided to do Day of the Dead to the due date, I think was 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We were sitting there, we were like, okay, when can we do this? And I was like, well, my next 2 weekends are booked. You know, my only weekend to shoot this is I think it was like the second to last weekend in June.
That's right. Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, are we really going to do this? Are we really just going to give ourselves like a week and a half to edit? Are we going to do this? And it was like, why not? What do we have to lose? And we really had nothing to lose. And so
Right.
it was like, if it didn't make it into the film prize, we still had something that we could do. But it's been my dream to be in the film prize forever, just because of the amazing support and the amazing, like you guys just support filmmakers so well and give us such an opportunity to tell our story and talk to our audience. And I went as an actor like years ago and was just blown away, because I've been to so many film festivals, but never one like this, where you just had such access to learning and growing and developing and getting inside someone's head on their ideas and their development of a film. So anyway, it's been exciting.
Well, that is wonderful compliment, and thank you guys for making such a wonderful film to be a part of the film prize. We're very lucky to have you guys. I do want to talk a little bit about the making of this film. Of course, you know, there is a component, hopefully you don't mind me saying, of cinema love that is present in this film. And you know, yes, I mean, you can tell from the from the trailer that it is a film full of fun and zombies, but it is is also a love letter to cinema fans.
Yeah.
How important was sort of the film component to telling your story? And were you you play one of the main characters? How much of yourself is in that lead?
Well, that's pretty much me, just amped up to 15. So, you know, much like, you know, Spinal Tap, it goes all the way to 11, and Rachel said, just, you know, break it to 15. And you know, mentioning it's a love letter to cinema, that's really just this kind of like a lot of the things that Rachel and I, as friends and as like artists and creators, we bond over is like similar, you know, films and that genre, you know, of things from like Edgar Wright to Sam Raimi, that we just, there's so much flavor in that. And those are a lot of things that we draw from and that we just personally really love. So when we decided to do this and directing this together, it was us sitting down, and I'd come and I'd show her some things and I'd be like, what do you think of this? And she'd go, oh, let's do this, you know, and we just kind of pull back any type of restraints, and we're going, look, we're doing this because we really love this genre, and not just the zombie genre, but more of the humor genre and the way it's particularly look and the particular style of it. We're just really fascinated, you know, with that. And going back with the character, that's just really me. Like I said, I'm not really an actor. So I just was being myself, and it was like, here's 10 cups of coffee. All right, now go. So.
Yeah, well, I do want to ask about your co-star. How did you guys connect with him? He sort of plays this character who's gone through a bad breakup and is the opposite of your character in some ways. What was the casting process like, and who did you ultimately land on, and why?
Rachel, you want to?
Marco is like a family member at this point, and I met him, I guess, like 2 or 3 years ago now, and he's been just a huge part of our life. He's a great actor. He came and I teach film acting here in Lafayette, and so that's how I met him. And he's just always present. He's like, hey, what can I do? What can we do? How can I help? You know, when are we going to do another film? Like, he's always. And so when we decided to do this, he was part of that process, like from the beginning. Like, we knew. And it was brilliant how wonderfully opposite they played. And honestly, I couldn't even see anyone else doing it. And we'd had Day of the Dead kind of on the back burner for a long time, but we had never cast or had never really put anyone in that space. And when I don't know, it's just, he was just so perfect.
Yeah.
And he nailed
Yeah.
it. He brought it.
Well, that's awesome. And I do, you know, of course, we've talked a little bit about the acting. Of course, Matthew, you're in front of the camera on this one a lot, as well as doing some directing. And Rachel, what was that like, having sort of your lead and co-director on the other side of the camera, and what responsibilities were you taking on in that role?
It was great because I've been like his right hand on all the films, and it's been my process of shadowing him and learning how to direct. And so when this one came up and we knew that he was the only person for the role, he said, okay, well, this is your moment. This is your moment. You're going to take the front. You're going to take the lead, and I'll be there to support you. So it was great because I still had him on all the pre-pro and the planning and, you know, working out shots and that kind of stuff, which is still kind of where my main training is going right now. Like just learning how to tell the story visually. And but it was really great to have him there and him to be able to trust that I could, you know, because he's like, oh, I want to be behind monitor, but I can't be in two places at once. And for him to just trust me was great. And I definitely know that I have an eye for like human behavior because I'm training as an actor for 10 years, but the aspect of framing shots and all that stuff, you know, he had to just trust me and Valentin to do, to just make it happen. And that was, so I'm not a horror movie fan. Like I just never grew up watching it. That's not really my genre. And so what was really important for me was that this was also comedy and that the shots made people laugh, because I couldn't laugh at the horror tropes because I didn't know them. Like, you know, there's tons of beautiful horror tropes in this and all the horror fans are going to love it. But I was one of the people who would be like, I don't get it. And so I was like, it's really important to me that this is funny because it's funny. Apart from that. And so that was really, I was so happy that we got certain shots and certain gags in there that I really, really wanted. And my ode to Edgar Wright, because I didn't know I wanted to be a director until I watched Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny outside of the horror. It's hilarious. So anyway.
Well, that's a really fantastic journey to getting to, you know, be director and to kind of express yourself in that new way as somebody so familiar with the acting portion of the filmmaking and storytelling world. Let's talk a brief bit about the production. You said you had a really short time frame to kind of put everything together. Who else was on your team, and how long did it take for you guys to kind of put all that together, and how many shoot days did you have? I'm just so curious about that production process.
Well, when we first start, when we were working on this other project, and it's about 11:30 at night, almost 12 in the morning, and we're all eating Cold Cane's chicken, and Rachel's like, okay, we're going to go do this. And just like she said, she goes like, all right, you're going to be that guy. And I'm like, okay. And like she said, we had such a short time. What we all did was we literally just started making list of assets of everything that we had, location, props, anybody that, you know, would be willing to come and help. And Rachel, outside being a fantastic actress, has all these and she's just an amazing person by herself. So being an amazing person, you make a lot of friends and people. There's, you know, the Whittles are awesome, and then there's essentially like the Whittle clan of people that are like the extended family. So, and she just had all these friends. Then she put a call out, and then everyone said, hey, I'm here to help. Hey, I'm down to do anything. So Rachel found the location of this other actor, really cool looking house, very vintage looking, had a really great throwback feel to it. And from there, we just like, okay, so 2 days of shooting. That's essentially what we both, what was it, 3 or 2? Oh, it was 3, pardon me. Oh, that's right. It was 3 days of shooting. Yeah, it was 3 days of shooting. It was 3 days of shooting. And how much was the prep time on the set though, when Valentine came in? I can't remember.
I we had, we did the scouting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, really, it came together so quickly. And I would cry sometimes just as it developed, as it just laid itself out and just worked. And someone said, it's just because I've spent time paying it forward. Like, when other people are doing stuff, I show up, and it's just the love of filmmaking, and it's love of community and love of creating and just producing art, that I think that our community here we just show up for each other. And then it was my turn. And so people just showed up, and it was beautiful. Like, I had 30 people show up to be zombies and and then I had like so many people show up all 3 days with no pay, just because I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. We didn't really have time to fundraise. We didn't really have a whole lot. And it was kind of like we just threw it out there, and it just came together. And I wept at some points, just like, thank you guys for showing up. And it was beautiful. But like Matt Valentin is a phenomenal DP, and he has an amazing repertoire of stuff that he just, all of his equipment that he brings, and he gave so much of his time. This couldn't have been done without him. And then we had a guy, an AC, Jean-Saul, come all the way from Baton Rouge just to play, like that's kind of like the culture we tried to create around here, is like, let's just get together and play. And not that we ever want to take advantage of people. Like, our dream and hope is that we get to a place where we're paying people what they're worth and doing that kind of thing. But that's why we love shorts, is because it's just a couple of days of commitment and everyone gets to play.
Yeah. And we had people show up, like Rachel put a call out, like, hey, someone said, hey, we'll show up as zombies. Like, we had this great couple show up, and they were in full, one of the very first shots in the movie, I think it's the second shot. This lady, she was awesome. She came in full zombie makeup from head to toe. And it was just phenomenal to have all these awesome people. And it was just to see it, come together. And, you world build in the beginning. And Rachel and I sometimes still look back, we still look at the opening going, oh, wow, we did that. That, there's our apocalyptic wasteland, unfolding in front of everybody. So
we also had a brilliant makeup artist.
Yes, Sunny was phenomenal. Yeah. So
that's awesome. It is that community. And I think that, you'll find that a lot of the Film Prize filmmakers have similar experiences, and that's something that we certainly love to see. So congrats on kind of pulling that community together and doing the work ahead of time, like you said, giving of your time to others, and they give to you, and that's how we build an arts and business community, in our respective places. I do want to talk a little bit about the festival. Of course, for those of you watching, the festival is October 20th through the 22nd. That's when you can watch all the films, and you can see all 20, and you can vote for that winner. But as you guys are coming to Film Prize, Rachel, I know you've been before. What is your sort of hope and dream for the festival in terms of your experience and the audience engagement that you have watching your film on the big screen?
I just want to make people laugh. So that's our goal. And I was 100% in, like I was coming Thursday through Sunday, but I ended up booking a gig that I'm not really sure at this point when my availability will be. Doing everything I can to be there as long as I can. But I was like, Garvin, you have to voice record for me so that I can hear the audience's reaction, because I just want to hear people laugh. That's just I think the thing that makes me the most happy is hearing people laugh. That's my main hope. And then just connecting with the audience, and because as an audience member myself, that was my greatest experience was, oh, tell me how this and how that. And the other thing was that, like, how this connects you with, what's the last audience count? How many people show up?
Yeah, like 3,000 or 4,000 people a year.
Yeah. So you're just walking along the street with all these people you've never met, you have no idea, and you hear them say something, and you have an immediate connection. You could be like, oh yeah, and that part and this part, and how'd they do that, and didn't you love this? And you've never met these people, but you have a connection and a common ground with all these 20 films. And I don't know, I just love the creative process. And so being able to be so close to the filmmakers and have access to them. So it'll be neat just to have people curious about what our process was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's essentially the same, be able to sit down, some of the other shorts that Rachel and I have done, and we've been in like theaters watching people, and just to see people react to it. I mean, there is this self-satisfactory when you see people laugh, and sometimes the tension go, oh good, that joke landed. But to laugh, I want to be able to sit down and watch people, and simultaneously we all laugh together, because that's the great thing about going to watch a story unfold, be it a comedy, a drama, a thriller. Just this, to be able to be with people that you don't know, and you be able to share a moment, even if it's a tearjerker, or if you're just like holding your belly and you're laughing as hard, and you walk out of the theater and you walk by somebody and they're saying something, oh, there was that scene here and that there, and you go, even if it's not your film, you go, yes, I was laughing at the same thing. Everybody wants to have that moment when they walk out of Empire going, can you believe that's his dad? Everybody wants those moments together. And that's the great thing about movies and the LA Film Prize too, because there's so much streaming now. We're individuals in these houses, but at a film festival, and you get to go with people, you make a conscious choice, much like a baseball game or a football game, but you get to go and you get to just share a moment with people, with strangers. It doesn't make a difference what you believe in or whatever. You just have a moment with somebody. You can go, yes, I laughed, I cried with you. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. So my last question to you guys, of course, it's a beautiful film festival. It's an opportunity to connect with audiences, but it is also a competition. And, at the end of the day, on that Sunday, October 23rd, one film will be read aloud as the grand prize winner. And I would love to kind of put this thought experiment to you guys. That check is revealed and it says Day of the Deb on it. What do you think? What do you do? And how do you spend it?
Making
Oh,
more.
Wow. Well, once the check is revealed, I'll probably be in, well, full disclosure. Like when we did this, our goal was just to get in. I mean, they're brilliant filmmakers there. There are a lot of great stories being told, but we just wanted to get in there and make people laugh. Not to go all like Dark Knight, but I kept telling Rachel, it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. And we just wanted to make people laugh. So if Day of the Deb is on the check at the ending of it, we know we did our job, and we made people laugh, and we told a story that hopefully stays with them. And down the line, they go, oh, I remember that. So how we'll spend it, I have no clue. My brain hasn't even got that far.
And we'll spend it on the next thing we're doing.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Sorry. See, that's how far I think. So
we'll make a film with it.
Yes. We'll make a movie. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys giving us some insight into the behind the scenes and the creation of Day of the Deb, and giving us a little sneak peek of what people can expect and hope for when they see it, October 20th through the 22nd at Film Prize. If you haven't got your tickets yet, folks, go over to prizefest.com. They're available right now, and we're just a few short weeks away, so get them while they're hot. Rachel, Matthew, thank you so much for taking the time out of your days to give us a little sneak peek.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. It was great.
All right. Have a good, oh wait, we have to do one more thing. We have a tradition here at the Film Prize where every time we meet and gather, we end our gathering with a Viva la Film Prize. And I need you guys to both do that with me on screen. And we're going to do that on the count of 3. And I'm going to go, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Viva la Film Prize.
Fantastic. You guys are awesome. And we will see you at the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.